Back to the book. Sheldon Brand was worth his weight in gold to me in running that platoon. He even introduced me to the platoon motto. It's a lick. A lick is a lick on a young man's ass, Lieutenant. You remember when you were a kid and you did something wrong or something got fucked up that you got the blame for? The old man would give you a licking with a switch or a belt? Yeah, I sure remember getting lickings. Well, when something goes wrong, it's a lick on you. You see? Anything that goes wrong will give you a lick. And over here, you'll get plenty of licks. My RTO was the other most important man to the platoon. His job was to carry the radio and stick to me like a shadow. The radio was our link with literally everything outside our platoon, from supplies to survival. Without a working radio and a good RTO, a platoon leader and the platoon were as good as lost in this war. My RTO, man, a skinny kid 5 feet 11 inches tall, was next to perfect for his job. He loved to know what was going on, and his job was akin to the central switchboard operators. So that's the RTO. That was actually when I was an enlisted SEAL. That's what I was. So I always had that same attitude. When you're the RTO, you always know what's going on. Because the officer's telling you, you're right next to him, you're listening to what he's saying, so you always know what's going on. And that was a real good education for me. Growing my whole career, always being next to the guy that was running the platoon. Talking a little bit about the troops here. My squad leaders were First Squad Delk, a tall cowboy type from Wyoming. Second Squad Porter, a slightly built black from East St. Louis. Third Squad Jose, a skinny, short, swarthy Puerto Rican. Fourth Squad Gallagher, a medium-built redhead from the New England states. And, of course, there was the platoon medic, Doc. The platoon makeup was whites, blacks, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Americans, and an Indian. And a Japanese American, all of them from 18 to 21 years old. In a combat platoon, we were evaluated by our peers on our ability to help the platoon survive and not on our racial backgrounds. A combat platoon pulled together and was tight with each other, with no room for the soldier who wouldn't do his share. So it's always good to just point that out. These are just people from a cross section of America, and these are pretty stereotypical, right? A cowboy from Wyoming, this is stereotypical stuff. And that's one thing that the military. So when I joined, I grew up in New England, right? When I joined the Navy and I got to California and I went to the Enlisted Man's Club on NAB Coronado, the Gator Gardens, back in the day, I was 19 years old. And I showed up, because there's a club. So it's a club on base, right? And so I'm going to go there. People are saying, hey, we're going to go to the club. So I go, okay, well, let's go see what's going on there. So I walk over to the club, and as I'm kind of standing outside, I see two guys walk by with jeans on, with cowboy boots, with big belt buckles and cowboy hats and like a Wrangler shirt. And I was kind of thinking to myself, is there some kind of, is it Halloween? Are these guys getting dressed up for something? And again, this is pre-internet, man. I mean, and then I see a couple more guys go by, and it turned out it was country western night, but
at the club
But nice. I had never seen a person in, I come from a small town in Connecticut, and there's just no cowboys up there. Yep. I mean, and interestingly, there's farms, and there's people that raise cattle, and there's people that grow, have farms, but they don't have cowboy boots, and they don't wear cowboy hats. And so it's just, that's what I was thinking about when I read this, is just how you take all these different people from all over the place. They had no idea. You have no idea what other people are like. And again, this is pre-internet. When I joined the Navy, we didn't get to Google. We didn't watch YouTube videos, because you're exposed to the entire planet and galaxy through YouTube.
Yep. First time you saw a real cowboy, huh?
Mm-hmm. It is. I thought they were dressed up. They were dressed up. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is kind of crazy. And then, I ended up, in TU Bruiser, we had all kinds of guys from Texas, and there's all kinds of cowboys down in Texas. Chris Kyle was like a legit rodeo dude. And Leif's a cowboy. Leif's an absolute cowboy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of cowboys in there.